All-Pro JAFFos, ball out Pro Bowl, Tony Romo, 40-yard dash, boy, don't be slow-mo. Get on the court, boy, I'm in go. Outside in the sun like Elliot Kobo. I'm running fast, LA de la Cruz. Turn on the JAFFos, get my news. A7FL doing good, how I knew. All-Pro JAFFos, the All-Pro, jumps off sports, they speak facts. You talk smack, you get sacked. Come tune in, sit in chat. Sport you like, they speak all that.
Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the All-Pro JAFFOs, bringing you the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. I'm your host, JP. Alongside me, as always, the prodigy EJ Wizzle. DJ Mad 6 will be joining us in a little bit, but we got a big show today. The A7FL season starts this weekend, and we've got another special guest as we talk to David Tender of the East Coast, the Silk City Animals. Now we have a West Coaster here on the squad. Ladies and gentlemen of the Jaffa Army, please welcome quarterback of the defending champion, back-to-back defending champion, Las Vegas Insomniacs, Mr. Scooter Hamilton. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's up, fellas? What's going on?
Not bad, not much. Just excited for this weekend. I'm sure you guys are as well, to be able to defend the title, be able to go for that historic three-peat. We've been talking to a lot of people around the league so far, and we're just kind of getting a bit of an idea of where everybody's head's at, where everybody is when it comes to the season. And glad to be able to have you on, obviously, with the defending champions. What is the outlook going into this season, really? Is there any sense of, I mean, shouldn't say nerves, but is there any sense of, how should I say this? Really, not just nervousness, but like there's a sense of, when you're going for a three-peat, there's a lot of pressure. So is there any sense of pressure? Is it still that laid back Insomniacs style of play? What are we looking at going into this season?
I will say we're actually excited. Like, there's a lot of us that are kind of just excited to play Sunday. I mean, I get a chance to play Sunday, and I'm probably going to end up missing my kid's games. He got a championship game he might end up being in, depending on how well they do on Saturday at a tournament here in Vegas that was actually happening at Matter Academy, where we're normally playing. So there's a good chance I might end up having to miss that for the A7 game. A lot of us are real excited for the season to start. But yeah, I don't think we're feeling much pressure as far as like going for a three-peat. That's kind of the goal. I think it's also like something for us to like actually play for, because there's, that opportunity to do something that no one else has done before. So
Yep.
We're pretty excited about it.
And there's always been the East Coast, West Coast banter back and forth, especially since the Vegas division, opened up a few years back. Obviously, the outlook on the West Coast from the Northeast and everybody out there is very different. It's not any longer that it's just another West Coast team, easy ride or whatever. Because from what I've been seeing, the Vegas division is definitely getting better all the way around. So it's looking to be a little bit more healthy competition for you guys here in the West Coast. But what you guys have proven these last 2 years, not just beating a Tampa Nightcrawlers team, but beating arguably one of the best teams, one of the foundational pieces of the A7FL with the BIC in the fashion that you guys did. What's the West Coast outlook, at least on the East Coast now? Because it was we're coming, we're hunting, we're trying to get on the radar. Now it's you guys are chasing us. So has the mindset really changed when it comes to how you guys deal with the East Coast?
Not necessarily. I think we still want to play the East Coast teams. We've been in Derek's inbox. We've been in our coaches chat. We've been in our management chat. Just trying to find ways to either raise money, get money, so that way we can add some East Coast teams to our schedule. Just because that hasn't been done either. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to break down some of those barriers that, so that the way the A7 can grow a little bit.
Yeah.
And like everyone has said, right? Corey says it all the time. Iron sharpens iron. We want to play some of those teams that the BICs get to play every year, all season long. Just to make us better, to test us, to battle test us. But to kind of go off of what you said, the Vegas division has gotten stronger. We're looking at teams with 25 plus, 25 man rosters plus. So that's a benefit already off rip. We're not only just excited to play, but we're excited to see what the other teams are bringing out.
Yeah, you guys have definitely brought a style of play to where the depth, especially on the Insomniacs, has always been a problem for other teams. So now that you're kind of seeing depth being created around the league, is that something that you guys look forward to? I mean, obviously everybody wants their respective divisions to grow and get better, and you guys have essentially set the standard there in Vegas. So is it like one of those, even if you weren't on a team looking in, going, we like where the division's going, the healthy competition, everything getting better is only going to make you guys better. So what for you guys, what's the outlook on the division so far?
I think Sick's still going to be who Sick is, even with all the rumors on who's not going to be there and whatnot. The Hunters, from what I heard, are like the Outlaws of the fall when they won the fall brawl. So I mean that'll be a pretty competitive, feisty team. The Gold seems pretty confident in who they got. I know they got a deeper roster, and I know they've been playing flag together the last couple weeks to build some chemistry. And the Stealth is pretty much, he won't say it, but pretty much OTT and a little couple of the Force guys and whatever guys didn't want to sit the bench on Sick. So, it'll be pretty competitive. It's going to be a lot of the same faces, I'm sure, that we've seen. But I'm just glad to be able to look across the field and see, 25 guys on a sideline and not 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that also kind of takes away, and this is one of the things that the East Coast was talking the last 2-3 years. When you guys, it also kind of takes away from what you guys do in a certain sense. Because when you guys are playing teams that only have 10, 11, 12 guys, not really enough to field a team, it's like, well, see, they kind of ease their way in there. They kind of, it was easy for them to make it. So now, I mean, obviously for you guys, there's no running from competition. You guys seem to like the competition. Actually, the more competition you guys get, the better you guys feel about it. So I mean, me personally, I'm glad to see any part of the league grow, whether it's West Coast, East Coast. I'm glad to see new teams. I'm glad to see these new divisions. I'm glad to see everybody getting bigger and stronger. So what is it? This is going for a three-peat now. And if it wasn't hard enough getting to this point, now the fact that teams are starting to build properly, starting to get that depth, starting to get a little bit more or a little bit better. For you guys looking at everything that's going on, is there a sense of, okay, we need to step the game up? Because to be honest, the last few years, at least from what we've said, and I've said it plenty of times on this show, I'm not going to, hide away from saying it before. You guys have seemed to be kind of a slow starting team in the first half, and then just absolutely foot on the throttle. Are you guys doing anything in order to basically, get over that? Just be like, we need to be foot on the gas pedal from start to finish now?
I mean, we've talked about executing at a high level, things like that. But some of us play flag still in the off season. Some of us don't. It's just a matter of how people are feeling that day. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, we haven't really tell you that we're ready to come out and play some seed. almost our full roster. So hopefully you'll see majority of the guys, and we definitely upgraded the roster as we lost a couple guys, and it's pretty scary.
So it's just I mean that's good. Wanting to play at the high level, and again, and it's not just you guys. It happens to a lot of teams, especially when you look at the weaker side, the cupcake teams and stuff that I like to call them. Even on the East Coast, guys will go, "Oh, we're playing this team. I'm not really gonna show up. I'm not really gonna," or even not even show up to the game. At certain times. So.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it now, and again, with the growth and the depth and the development for all these teams coming in, I don't know if you guys can really afford to do that. One loss in the last 2 years could double, maybe triple, if that mindset continues to happen.
Yeah, well, with me, I mean, I'll say this: with me at the quarterback position, I'm not going to let that happen. So hopefully people follow suit, follow lead, and want the same thing we all want. And that's for the 3 people we know we got to come out and play every week.
And that's one of the things about having a good leader at the quarterback position, being able to get the team where y'all need to be. Again, we talked to David Tender last week, and he kind of had the same aspect of it. They feed off your energy, and I mean, we've seen these last few years you've been able to do it all. I mean, last year you went from playing quarterback to all of a sudden we're seeing you at a fullback position at times, being the lead blocker.
Running the wing tee.
Yeah, so I again, just wanting to see everything get better, just wanting to see, even as good as you guys have been, that's one of the things that I would love to see you guys be able to. Yeah, you can put up 60, 70, points at any time of night, but playing the full-on 4 quarters, guys kind of getting out of that, we'll see if we want to wake up until the second half. Being y'all may be able to put up 100 if you guys were awake from beginning to end. So now are there any teams, at least in the division? Obviously, we've talked. You mentioned Sick with it not too long ago. They've always been one of those teams that kind of keep you guys on your toes. They were the first team to give you guys a loss, but outside of that is just Sick. Is there any other teams that you guys got your eye on going, you know what? That's not the same team as last year, and we actually need to be prepared.
No, I mean, for us, I want us to just provide good football to the A7FL, and I want the other teams to come out and play good football. You know what I mean? I'd rather see 24 to 0 ball games, but it'd be really good football as opposed to 60-0 and be really bad football. As far as a team that we're looking kind of forward to playing, just because I got a bet on the line, I'd probably be the Stealth. But I mean, that dude's pockets are gonna get broke, man. So,
you got some big boys that can't eat. Speaking from personal experience, given the summer in Philadelphia. But Scooter, well, first off, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Good.
Talk about now rosters won't be finalized until the end of the day today, but just talk about the dynamic of adding a Moses Smith and adding a William Coswell, the newest additions to the Wolfpack, and how will they impact you guys coming into the season?
Yeah, Moses Smith, I mean, my first time seeing him was actually Sunday. He came out for the first time. We had somebody kind of did a pro bono on us for some pictures and stuff, and we held a little gathering, and the first matchup was Moses Smith. After we were done with the pictures, it was Moses Smith versus Kenny Mack in a one-on-one at midfield at Matter. And
on the drill. Nice.
A little one-on-one O-line, D-line, and he's massive, man. Picture AJ and Jeremiah Reeves together in a Samoan body. That's what he looks like. So he's massive. He's quick. He's got good hands. He's got a motor like AJ does. So being able to see him and Cunningham and Scotty and AJ and Chris McWilliams and the other guys we got on the D line, it's going to be scary for opposing quarterbacks.
That's unfair.
Yeah,
That's
as far as Will goes, think of a guy like Davik. I mean, they're very similar as far as the type of style of receiver they are. Will's got a little bit more like grit to him. He can also play both ways at a very high level. So you'll be seeing him play DB quite a bit on some of the taller, more physical receivers because he's a little bit bigger, stronger. He's got really good ball skills when the ball's in the air. He's very explosive on his first step. So he's going to be.
He's got some very good hands, and I mean, he played for the Gold this past season, but he made some great catches in traffic. Definitely, you can high point the ball to him, as you just mentioned, and he can also give Zelly and Danya a little break because he can also do the. Don't be fooled by his height. The man can run. He took a couple back to the house last year on the throwing turn. So I mean, anxious to see the newest additions to the Wolfpack as you guys try to make some history since the other football league didn't have a 3P winner. Maybe there might be one here in the A7 starting on Sunday under 48 hours or less. But just, I guess if there's one particular team that you guys might have a keen eye on, doesn't matter in what division, what team might that be?
I mean, speaking of like in general or just on the Vegas side?
We can go to the other side if you want to.
I mean, like I said, Vegas side, we wanna put our paws on the stealth for sure. We're always looking forward to a sick matchup. I think we got them like week 3 or something, so they got a couple weeks
March 30th, I believe.
Yeah, to get their roster in line and get whatever kinks they need out. So that'll be good for them. As far as back east, man, we got an open date. I think it's like May 4th or something. I heard that we want to travel, or someone want to travel to us, but we definitely want someone back east. It don't matter who.
I was gonna say, like, how far? I mean, you said you've been in the inbox and everything with Derek, and there's obviously been conversations. I mean, we've been in talks, especially with people like Matt Ryan and others. How long do you think it'll be until we start actually seeing those interconference matchups during the regular season?
I mean, I think it comes down to like two things, right? Obviously, the league doesn't have all that kind of money to just send a team out for 2 days and to go play a tackle football game. I think, if players really want to play the best or they want to play, other opponents, I think that teams need to, kind of reach out to their own players. I mean, our coaches have gotten on us already and said, hey, we got an opportunity May 4th. We may have to come out of pocket $100 a pop to get us there and get us back. And the one thing that we do well as far as a team is we travel well. You know what I mean? We play flag and we travel in flag, and we've shown that we could travel to the East Coast really well. We just missed guys last year because of not out of our control. It was due to other stuff. So I just think that if players are willing to set their priorities right and put a couple of dollars away on top of whatever registration fee they're paying, to put into a pot for group fairs or whatever it may be, that's how it'll work. You could do some 1-dayers, you just got to suck it up.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have definitely, your team in particular, and I know Derek, again, hats off to him because everything that he's done for the Vegas division and kind of helping the fact that you guys that was one of the concerns that we were thinking about, especially going into the championship, going like, well, okay, how well is the team going to travel? We saw the year before that, you guys have everybody there, Bullhead, and then barely anybody traveled, for Tampa. But then you guys going down to the East Coast, you virtually had your entire team there.
I think there were maybe like 2 or 3 players that didn't make it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say about 97% of the roster was there.
A lot of people say like your coaches don't do anything. well, that's one thing our coaches do a great job at is making sure guys are taking the days off that need to be taken off, making sure that guys are, getting money in or getting their, driver's license in, and making sure what flights they can be on. Like there's so much stuff that our coaches do behind the scenes that like it takes away from like they just don't get the credit for it. You know what I mean? Like yeah, us players and us player coaches that are on the field do a lot of the stuff that happens on the field, but I mean, just let alone just registering 30-something guys, that just to get them to register is tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now try planning a 3-day trip to, Philadelphia and with rooms and how many people are going and what flights you can go on and what days are you coming back. And it's a lot, and they do a good job of scheduling that stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say it takes a lot to be able to get that going, and I think with the staff that you guys have, I mean that it does speak volumes to them to be able to get all of you guys down there, be able to schedule everything the right way, because again, had that not happened, the whole team might not have been there. We might be talking about a different result. But what you guys kind of showed, and we welcome one of the other voices of the A7FL, Mr. Corey Hammond from out
That
the
lovely
East Coast,
hair.
new QB for the Hawks, the Old Bridge Hawks coming up this weekend, making their return.
We got both
but I
number
think
12s on the show.
but with Scooter, I think what you guys have kind of done, and this is what makes me think that the interconference play might happen a little bit sooner than people think, is because what the Insomniacs as a whole, like you just mentioned, from not just the players and stuff, but the behind the scenes, the staff and everybody, and then division owners that are willing to be able to help out, get things in motion that way. You guys have kind of set almost a blueprint, I would say, on what it may take to be able to get good traveling from one side to another. So I mean, I know finances are a big thing on why the interconference play hasn't been happening, but I think again, if players, coaches, if everybody can get on the same page, it might happen a little bit sooner than we think. And then of course, the voice of the A7FL, Mr. Matt Ryan, joining us
Some
here.
more lovely hair.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think also too though, like what separates us, and we've said it before and everyone knows, is like we're a pretty close knit group, like family, you know what I mean? Like brothers, cousins, and we've all been playing together for so long. So when you travel, when you get an opportunity to travel with your best friend, you know what I mean, and go do things, it makes the travel easy, and I think once teams can figure out that aspect of it too, it'll help.
Yep.
I guess
absolutely.
one thing that's been very impressive in watching you guys over the last 2 years is how you guys you don't get flustered. I mean, we talk about the last 2 championship games. You're down double digits twice in both those games, and then being on the sideline in Asbury Park back in July, just how you guys just don't fluster. I mean, I talked about it at verbatim about how you were in the huddle talking about, okay, if at least Danya can get to the 50, we got 3 plays we can score on. Like, there's never any doubt. There's never no being flabbergasted. There's never, okay, what are we going to do? It's always, okay, we have a plan. Let's X this out. How does that, is that just years of just being together and just knowing what you guys can do when it's crunch time?
And to kind of piggyback off that, would you actually also say that, and we've mentioned this before, the fact that most of you guys are coaches for either high school program or lower or wherever it is, the fact that you guys are coaches, does that also help that whole process?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going to say is as coaches, we preach that, right? The old saying goes game ain't over till the faculty sings. You know what I mean? And it's true. The football is so many things that can happen in a game of football. I mean, you see it with the Chiefs all the time with Patrick Mahomes. How do they win? They just win. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how you win, how it gets done, who does it, by how many points. As long as you win the football game, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And with us having so many coaches on the field, we're just able to keep our composure and just realize that at the end of the day, we still got probably the best players on this side of the ball to make a play. And it's just a matter of getting that ball in their hands. And unfortunately, we have to rely on the offense because Donnie is one of the best returners in the league, and he took it to the house.
It's definitely helps when you have somebody as dynamic as that on the 3-on-1 side. Mr. Ryan, quick question for you, sir. Obviously the excitement going into this weekend is palpable, and everybody's looking forward to it. It's going to be probably one of the biggest seasons of all time, and I know we say that every single year, and it just seems to get better. But from hearing what Scooter's saying, and then what you've been saying and hearing out there in the Northeast, what's like the most exciting part going into this Sunday?
Well, it's a fresh start. Everybody's 0-0. Everybody's got the opportunity on Sunday to set themselves apart and get momentum going. We have a very scant amount of regular season games, so you have very limited opportunities and very limited chances in front of the audience you're going to have on the games of the week to show out. So I think this week is definitely going to be about setting the tone. Not as much for the BIC or for the Insomniacs or for the Patterson U. I think in terms of their mindset, it's championship or bust for all three. But in our 1 o'clock game for the Octane, this is the biggest opportunity this team has had since coming to the A7FL. And for the Hawks, it's a chance for a great group of veterans. And I'm not just saying that because Corey's on the call and he's a friend of mine, but Amir Morris is one of the most decorated. And Scooter, you went up against him in the chip. He caught a ball off you, man. He's one of the most talented secondary players we've ever seen in this league. And now he gets a chance to play at wide receiver with a quarterback who, God willing, has a line in front of him on Sunday who will give him a chance to get the ball off. He's got guys like Troy Smith, Mr. Incredible. We talked about it in motion. But also just to see these unique matchups. Keno Thomas will be back on Sunday for the QC Crush. There's going to be a lot of interesting talent that we've seen, like Amatrice Hall from the Heist. And there's a group of guys that are really trying to build something in Ohio. And hopefully that, yields something more than what we've seen out of the Chaos. They were able to pinata everybody. But over the last couple of seasons, when they met the top of the hill, they felt they would fall back down to the bottom. And that's not an indictment on them. That's a team trying to find their way and trying to figure out in a league that is, I will admit, very fucking weird. It's a very weird place to work. It's a very odd concept of football, but it's better than most football. But I think it's just seeing what happens. This has been the most monumental offseason in recent A7FL history since the inclusion of the non-Eastern time zone divisions.
Yeah.
Since 22, since the, I would say the modern A7FL started in the 21-22, those two seasons really set the next decade up. But it's seeing if guys like David Tender and the Animals, who have a minus 9.1 plus minus, they got scored on more than they scored. There's a stat here in my game notes. I'll pull them up. I was going to bring it up on Sunday, but we do have it because Cole Gardella is already in his fucking bag for the season. And I am excited for what that mathematical weirdo is going to have for me this year. But there's a lot of interesting things at play. Corey, when it comes to you, obviously playing on the road isn't new to you. You opened up the 2022 season on the road with the Hawks in Baltimore. What is it about traveling and going on the road and playing against a completely new team, a team you've never faced before, a team you've only seen on film? It's kind of like playing myth and legend at that point because you're not playing against, applicable data. How do you walk into a game like that? What's the mindset for you have essentially a new crew of guys, very limited practice time, and you got 85,000 fucking kids, bro. How do you make this work, and how do you develop an offense around it?
Yeah, well, it's the first part is just getting there, right? I think for the Hawks, and I don't want to sound too confident, but I think one of the more difficult tasks that we have to attack and succeed against is just getting out there. Scott was talking about traveling with your friends is easier. But I will say this: when Ryan DePaul came to Bobby Newman and I and talked about hypothetically the week one travel being the Hawks, one of the reasons I think we jumped on it so quickly is that with a new team, with a lot of chemistry that needs to be built up, and like you said, Matt, the inventory of games is not that deep. We only have a couple of games to get really rolling. Um, Having this opportunity to turn our first game weekend into a bonding experience that will lead into the chemistry and the familiarity and some of the kind of the dynamics of schematics as well. We're going to have most of Saturday night to really watch film on what we have, of either showing the rest of the receivers how to run routes by throwing out their old Mr. Incredible film, um, or throwing on the Octane film and kind of seeing who their guys are, how they approach certain game situations like third and longs, and what offense do they run where when the time is running lower in the half. Having that ability to gel in a more a more personalized way where our guys are going to be in a car with each other, either pissing each other off for 10 hours or getting to know each other, and we'll have inside jokes by the end of this situation. So
Oh, like Bullhead, like when
yeah,
we were
exactly.
down when
Right.
we were.
Yep.
So
Like the
we
raccoon. Like the raccoon.
like
And
the
and guess what?
raccoon, that motherfucker.
That was going to be my
That
buddy. But I'll say this: going to Bullhead, having that camaraderie built, it made our team stronger, I would say.
I
and
certainly
and
agree.
having that opportunity week one with the Hawks is kind of a especially for a longtime vet that's been in this league since we were playing at the dirt field behind the Texas Wiener in Union, New Jersey. And it's just ridiculous to say Texas Wiener, but that's literally what the place was called. I could
They
say
have interesting choices for names for restaurants in the state of New Jersey, to
yeah.
where it is just the most noun verb kind of motherfucking place.
Yeah, or because there's not so many places in New Jersey that are like New Jersey specific. It's name of other place, right? Like China, and then plate, right? And like
Yeah.
random noun.
Nah, he's not wrong. But when we go back to Sunday, it's and Dub, I want you. This is your third season with us,
Mhm.
Correct.
and you came into the division when 1 year in, everything you guys come out, they get their clocks cleaned, but Bullhead and everything. How does it feel now for Nevada to be the back to back defending champions? How does it feel to know that the West Coast now has not only more eyes on it, but I would say the collective pressure isn't on the Insomniacs. It's on all the other teams in the Western Conference, because now they have to show that they belong. The Sick with It, the Stealth, the Hunters, Gold, all of these teams that we're going to be seeing over the next 7 weeks, the Hunter, like, they have to show it. And with the Force leaving the league and a lot of consolidation when it comes to talent, this, I think, is the best opportunity for these players to make something of themselves. The thing I'm looking forward to the most on Sunday is to see what Savion Cunningham does with more pieces around.
Well, not just that. I'm anxious to see who exactly is going to be throwing him the ball. Is it going to be Yodi Mack, or is it going to be a player to be named later? Of course, there's been all the talk about, okay, which version, who's playing for Sick. They lost this player, they lost that player, but oh, by the way, they still have Darren Palmer, which, by the way, he's pretty damn good. and they still have more
Yeah,
great.
but does he throw? See,
No, he doesn't
you
throw the
can
ball.
have
He
you
doesn't throw
can
the
have
ball.
you can have a million amazing athletes in this league, but as we've seen time and time again, if you do not have a man under center who will walk through hell with gasoline thongs on, you're not going to survive the season. And you can consider them sandals or underpants. Pick your poison. I don't care. I'm not your dad, I don't think. Did your mom like Yacht Rock? If she did, then we might have to have a conversation. But back to the thing at hand, when it comes to this season, on the outside looking in, like to not people who have been in the Northeast and kind of live in that cluster, because as Scooter said about the Insomniacs, like this is a community here. Like these are people who have known each other since high school and back, and I still feel like a carpetbagger and a bit of a dilettante, even though I'm on season 6. And most of these guys I've known for quite a long time. What does it look like, the Northeast or the Eastern Conference in general, to people who are outside of that bubble, people who are looking at it from either the Nevada perspective or from the fan/analyst perspective?
Well, for me, like I said, the darling talk of the offseason has been the animals. And now the question is, what can they do to perhaps get into that BIC or perhaps Pedersen U tier? I mean, the main thing for me is, okay, what happened to the Watchmen? Okay, how do they respond? How do they bounce back and try to be what they have been over the years, knocking on that door, trying to have a seat at the table? I mean, I know for a fact that the Insomniacs, they want the smoke. They want all the smoke. They want to. It's almost like that open challenge thing in professional wrestling. Like, who wants the smoke? For me, I'm interested to see if the Octane, their second year, how do they respond as they have their biggest stage in their second year in the league, playing against Mr. Hammond and the returning Hawks. I'm just anxious to see who will, in a sense, get that first spark going, make that first statement to say, hey, we're here. Take a look at us. We're coming to play. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to seeing on the outside looking in, starting on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific.
I got a question for you, Dub, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Guys, I've been behaving very well, by the way.
You have, and I appreciate
This is
that,
the
Mr.
least
Hammond.
Corey Hammond outside of A7FL in Motion, media trained Corey on, because that show, by the way, if you guys don't know, is actually going to be airing on Fox Houston,
Nice.
in Texas. Should be airing on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Fox 5.2. It's already airing on The Zone. It's going to air on Triller TV Plus at 3:30 on Sunday.
Beautiful.
3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, right before our 4 o'clock game. So if you want to have that on in the background while me and Big Rob are calling Corey, fuck, I gotta go to the liquor store. We have a bit of a plan. If something does happen, we're not going to say it's like watching a pitcher throw a perfect game. You really don't want to say anything in the dugout, but there's been conversations had amongst the staff. Sadly, he is not. This is a situation where we're not even going to be in the same time zone, let alone the same stadium, because we're calling the games from home. You're in my home studio right now. All the bullshit for Sundays in the corner over there. I had to build an end table yesterday for it. Also, may need somebody who knows Linux, but that's a different conversation. But Sunday's going to be dope. Scooter, when it comes to the gold, what do you think your son can do to stop that defense?
What about my question for Dub?
You can. I'm sorry. I took it over because I'm being silly.
No. Get Scooter's kid involved, because I was going to say a kid thing too.
But media trained Corey is dope. But you have a question for Dub.
Well, first of all, on Matt's point, is that the class of 2042 4-star quarterback right there, working on that 5th star? Let's go. I don't know if I did the math right. So shout outs to your kid, Scooter. Yo, guys, I know you all know how many kids I have. I have a 10-year-old. His name is Jackson. Had a basketball game today. Guys. He had the assist buzzer beater to send it into overtime, and the assist in overtime. What's up, Derek? The assist in overtime to a guy at the corner 3 to win the game tonight. Wild.
Hey,
I was heckling a 10-year-old. I mean, he was 11. Excuse me. He was 11.
Why am I
I
not
was heckling
surprised?
an 11-year-old at the
That
foul
part.
line. I felt bad.
No, you didn't.
I'm
No,
sure he
I
deserved
felt
it because
bad.
he was 11.
I went and apologized to his parents afterwards, like we talk about, guys.
I just
Matt
pray for
says
the
don't be an
day.
asshole, and I make the commitment to try. So my
He'll
question,
try.
I
to
may
Doug.
not believe in God, but there are times in my day where I look at Corey Hammond and I just go like this, and I just hope for a day where I just see him. And I don't have to go like this and go, "Why do you tax me?"
One time I thought Matt
Why do you?
was gonna open palm slap my face when I said something about Ohio and a train, but I digress. Dub, this could
Sir.
actually go for all of This could actually go for all the Vegas guys. Now that you guys jumped on, right? I've been digging, and proverbially, metaphorically digging. I'm not like, actually out there with dirt on my hands or anything like that, but I've been digging. And can you guys tell me who Junior is? Because he, from a source in the Vegas, sphere, we'll say, Junior is the guy that is being rumored to be the quarterback that is stepping in the place of Jeremy Geary for Sick With It. I said Sick With It. I was being proper there. See, media trained Corey Hammond's coming out again. Who is Junior? And what are the chances that my digging has found the gem that will be the next quarterback for Sick?
Junior's a flag quarterback name. He goes by Kamek is his last name. He's a Vegas guy. Dual threat kind of. Last I heard, he wasn't playing though because they don't got the guys to block for him. So who knows?
Sounds like a flag guy to me. Sounds like a flag guy to me.
But that's the thing, Corey. Like all this shit that's being talked about the flag guys, yet the flag guy seems to be the one who's starting to revolutionize this league.
I believe that there's some sort of weird. It's a colloquial difference.
Well,
because
you go ahead.
There might be a flag. There might be guys who play flag, and then there are flag guys. Because a lot of the people.
Scott Hamilton plays football. The fact that he suits up and plays flag does not make him a flag guy. Just so we're all clear and to really put it in perspective, a flag guy is the kind of guy that says, when approached by Mark Gray, the general manager of Sick With It, a pretty good football mind and organizer of men, and he says, "Young man, I would like you to be the quarterback for our A7FL team." A flag guy's response is, "Nah, you ain't got the offensive line. I ain't trying to play that." Right? I mean, if you're willing to suit up and play football,
you're not getting all that much time.
Well, not even that. If you're willing to suit up and play football with the caveat that the only contact somebody can legally, do towards you is to touch your hip like an 8th grade dance, that's a flag guy. Scooter Hamilton plays flag. Anthony Wilkerson plays flag. But nobody, except for that one time when Scooter was playing in the fall and he saw a fumble, and in flag the rule is that it plays dead and he completely forgot. But that's why fall don't count, right? He was adjusting. But if somebody could tell me that Anthony Wilkerson, who does play flag, is not a football player that is willing to play tackle, bro, right?
Our whole team.
One of the greatest players of all time, Matt Riddick, is a guy who's a legend not only in this league but in flag football. Mark Bagway, Logo Davis, BME Keys.
I mean, those guys.
Three guys who have been
anyway.
Yeah, those three guys are the belle of the A7FL ball when it comes to people that people want on their teams. You hear it through the grapevine all the time because of tenuous situations.
Oh.
So it's more of these are the guys who want to play football for fun and not necessarily are interested in getting their bodies pinataed like our friend Corin's here.
Yeah, there's probably something wrong with me. Not gonna lie.
Sweet baby, there's
I-
something wrong with all of us. We work on football and we're on the internet at 11 o'clock at night yelling at each other on a party line.
Yeah. Speaking
Like
of,
blog
gentlemen.
talk radio, but sadder because I can see your faces.
Speaking of, gentlemen, and I do hate to cut you off, Matt. I don't do it often enough anymore. There's no 3-on-1, so I got to just put whatever I can in. But I got to spend some time with wife before I dip out. If I can rejoin the show with some Hawks in a whip, we will attempt that. No promises. But,
all good.
gentlemen,
Safe travels, Sandy Corey. Safe
football
travels.
is upon us. And to just show Matt my media training, want a little bit more football action and some nice highlight work from Ryan DePaul? Check out A7FL.TV this weekend, or go to youtube.com/A7FL and check out A7FL in Motion, starring Matt Ryan and featuring the first guest, myself, Corey Hammond, as both anchor and quarterback. Gentlemen, my wife's here. I got to spend
Have a
time with her.
good one, Corey.
Hi, Jess.
Say hi, Jazz.
Oh, Matt, you look like just such a proud father. Just
I'm not disappointed, which is a nice feeling. It's a new feeling, but it's a nice feeling.
Mr. Duncan, glad you can join us, sir. Suge Light has made his return to the Jaffa Army. Appreciate you. Obviously you've been overseeing the entire division in Vegas these last few years. What are some of the things that you're most excited for going into Sunday?
Well, first off, appreciate you having me, guys. Thank you to Corey for exiting so I can actually get a word in. This season this off season has been the most involved in A7FL history since my investing and getting involved with the league. So many different things we tried to accomplish this off season. So many things we tried to improve this off season. Steady conversation, steady communication, just trying to make things better across the board, and none of it worked. So,
I mean, with everything that happened with Fall Brawl and the Winter War, everything else, like, I mean, shit happens. It's gonna happen, further and further down the line. But you guys still seem to be prepared to be able to, at least when it comes to the regular season, to move on and at least be competitive as the season goes.
let me borrow a line from the illustrious Matt Ryan, who on my screen is the man above me. The beauty of A7FL is we are the show, and when the show shows up, it just happens. So we're going to show up and make it happen because we are the show. I got a lot of great guys in our league who are serious about football, serious about this league, and love to play ball. If I'm going to put a finger on what happened to the Nevada division specifically this year, we've only got guys who are serious about their ball who are showing up to play, right? All the things that made it easy to get in last year and backdooring your way into a team or a season kind of got eliminated. So only guys who were, I say B plus and better, who were serious about their ball have showed up, and it's kind of trimmed. I won't say the fat, but trimmed what it trimmed, and we're left with 5 teams with roughly 30 plus guys per team. So we've never had that before. Even our first season, we had 3 teams, and we had one team with 35 and one with 18 and one with like 16. Next year we had 8, and we had 3 with 35. Everybody else had like 20. So, this is kind of
More balanced.
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, of course, we got our A plus teams, and we got our A to A minus to B plus teams. We don't know who's going to be who until the clock strikes 0 on Sunday. I mean, these teams have been spread out, and talent has gone in places where it was needed and belonged. And some of the moves that I know that are happening that I'm not willing to put out anybody's business on, like people having lines when people don't think they have lines, and the jersey sizes that I'm ordering, how many 2XLs and XLs are going on every team. Like, okay, I see what's up here. This looks like it might be some fun.
Yeah, and just like I had asked Scooter and stuff like that, because again, visually, at least from what I'm seeing from the league, from what the Insomniacs were able to accomplish travel wise to the championship game last year, all the way to New Jersey to fall on the East Coast. How far do you personally see, or like how far out do you see the league finally starting to get into more interconference play during the regular season?
I think if we all had our way, it would be next season. I think the table was set for it to happen this season, and we didn't do enough to get the guys ready and to get ourselves ready to make that happen this season. We were talking about making it very easy for players to be able to generate additional income for themselves and for the league to help support travel.
Hmm.
Those things didn't happen the way we wanted to or anticipated to, but they are happening throughout this season, right? So it's step by step, little by little. Things are starting to be added to the player page to do some of the things we want to do. We'll be able to do some fundraising through that, but I think everybody that's on this chat and everybody who's involved with the league would much rather see us be a paid league where we didn't have to go through that. But at the same time, if you look at all these paid leagues, they are fucking failing left and right. But here we are, standing strong, turning it up to 11 on our 11th season because we're built the way we're built. We're a sustainable, scalable product, and you don't want to fuck with that too much because you could end up like all these other guys going, "What happened?"
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I mean, obviously, I would love to see the interconference play happen sooner rather than later. I mean, obviously, logistics and stuff make that for what it is. I mean, for me, looking at it, it's only going to make the competition better. Bringing those East West Coast rivalries to start getting built up would be nice to see. But I mean, the league has been running pretty strong for a good amount of time, and I'm pretty sure I've heard Matt say it multiple times. Longest running spring league in the country, and that's including
In American history.
So
We're
what you
coming
got?
after you, Guatemalan Football Spring Alliance, you fucks. Yeah, you're a totally real thing, and I didn't make that up because I'm disassociating. No.
But I mean, with what the A7 has built, especially in the last 5 years at least, there's been obviously a growing following. There's more recognition being happened, elsewhere and other. But what are some things that, and I can give this about Matt and Derek, when it comes to further expanding what's already happening. You got some of the TV deals, with Fox, with God, with damn near anybody under the sun that you can really stream from. You guys are being now a part of. So what would it have to take for getting either whether it be more sponsors or everything that would be needed in order to make that happen?
Well, I'll speak on behalf of the research that I did and to make things happen. So to travel cross country with 35 to 40 guys, if you plan for it right, takes about 15K, right? So every travel game we want to put on, we need to have a sponsor or fundraising or income off of broadcast or ticket sales to support 15K. So we either need to have our own venues where we can sell tickets to make that kind of money, or we need to have sponsors who are looking to get their brand out around our sport that we're willing to put up that kind of money, or our broadcast deal needs to bring in that kind of money to support it. It needs to be one of those three things, or someone needs to buy the league that has an infinite amount of money that wants to put it together because they know the product that we put on the field is one of the best and most entertaining pieces of media that you can see, thanks to the man in the middle here. Let me just say publicly now, I was watching a game on Tubi the other day. Thanks to Tubi and Fox for putting our games up. and there was a commentator who was doing the first 3 quarters of that game, and then like a ton of bricks, I get hit with Matt Ryan calling the fourth quarter, and the entire feeling of the entire game changed, and it was refreshing to have Matt doing his thing. So super happy that Matt's a part of what we do, and the energy that he brings and Corey brings and Big Rob brings, it's palatable, man. You don't notice it when it's not happening. I think Dub and Chris do a good job too, but they don't get to call the games of the week, and you don't get that same level of game, if you will. But when they do their best to make us and whatever product we're putting out in Vegas look good. So thank you to Dub and Chris and the Viking when he's around for doing what they do. But Matt is a special individual.
Thank you, Derek. That's very nice of you to say. And
You owe me my $10.
I'll Venmo you once I'm off here. Do you take Bison dollars or Jeffrey dollars? I know you have a small child, so I can send you some Jeffrey dollars that I got off a guy in 1997. I don't know if they work, but we'll talk about it. But that's to go off of what Derek said. I think what we have in the A7FL is something unique in modern culture, in modern American media, in modern American life. There's not a lot of artifice to it. There's not a lot of bullshit. There's not a lot of sheen on it. And I think that that's refreshing. I think that what we bring to the American sports landscape more than anything else is we are a real reflection of what content can be. We're able to do a pot. Anybody else hear a child yelling, or am I having a psychosomatic breakdown?
I heard it, but I think it went away.
I just turned it down. It was my kid's iPad.
Okay, I thought I was having like a regression moment, like I was going back to my parents arguing. But it's also this, like the ability for me, Rob and Corey, to be me, Rob and Corey. There's no other league that would let me be the fucking psychopath I am on television. Like this, it's also that also allows it to be very much like pro wrestling, and I think that that's a thing that we don't get a chance to tap into as much. And I know that as someone who's obsessed with professional wrestling to the point to getting a degree in media studies, so I can be good at it. The ability to tell a story and being able to craft something to where you can identify and believe in it. I think right now, in a world that's very tribalistic, in a world that is very us versus them, what we have is a very distilled source of fun. Sure, there's that town beef element. There's a lot of that falderall and obvious masculinity within a contest to where you're going up and down the field and beating the shit out of each other. But it's very free-form entertainment. Anything and everything can happen. It can go from being a sports broadcast to a podcast to the fucking Dick Cavett show because of the rain, and we've got a Phil, and we've got every team in the league in the basement of this stadium. And I feel like that anything could happen element's really interesting and really exciting. It's just very hard to show the best version of yourself and continue to project that. We live in a very cluttered culture. We live in a world right now to where making things is very expensive, but you can do it very affordably. To do it to the level we need to make it sustainable for all of us to make money just off this thing takes the amount of collective action and progress that for some leagues, it's going to take a long time. It's going to be a grind. Like the NFL existed for over 20, 30, 40 years before it became the NFL, and even then, it still had to fight battles well into its 7th, 8th decade to where it was the cultural touch point of the world we live in right now. To get to a 10th of that with a 0.1 of the budget and the resources and the luck We don't have that, so we have to find our own way. And I think that within that, it creates all these fucking issues, and real life is a big part of it. Not a lot of us get to do this full time.
No.
Derek has a business. I have a fucking job. Doug has a job. Like, this is not, Scooter's a coach. He's a dad. So when you're working 40 hours on one thing and working 80 on this thing, it makes it hard to, be able to put everything in the position it needs to be when you think you can do it.
Hmm.
And it's much like trying to win a football game: grace, space, and finding rhythm. And I think we've had the grace, we've had the space because we can continue to exist and develop. But I think the momentum is slowly building up, and a lot is riding on me, on Rob, on Corey, starting on Sunday, to make those 9 hours worth of shit for everybody who's watching and to keep you for all 9.
Yep.
And
I mean, you guys have done a hell of a job to coming in and being able to do that. I mean, especially on viewerships and stuff like that, that at least that I've seen, people stay connected. People are, hey, when's the game going to start? Hey, or is this going to happen? Is this like what's happened? Like, people are staying engaged, and I think you guys have been doing a hell of a job being
a
able
lot of that's
to
the
keep that.
football. A lot of
I mean,
that's the football. And the thing that we get, the thing that makes our job easier, the thing that we can just pull up with a fucking FedEx Kinko's folder of notes and some gumption and me not eating, is we have great football and we have great stuff to react to and look at. There's always going to be something or someone on the field that gets Rob or Corey to go in the direction they're going to go into, and it allows me to be the, fucking, you can't do that. I have to be Mrs. Garrett on the fucking Facts of Life half the time. I have to be, oh, girls, don't do that. I know my role here. I have to be John Stockton, and I know how to get my guys the shots. And they fucking put points on the board. We're the Silk City Animals offense of commentary teams. We give up a lot of points too, though. I know what I sound like. I know what I sound like when I'm loud. But fuck you. I'm here. I have the job. You fire me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, we can't do that.
I'll go.
Can't do that.
I'll go down to the beach with my dog for 9 hours a day. But I think that we have a very unique product and I think this year we're going to be able to show more of that, do more of what we're good at, and focus on what makes us awesome. And I think on Sunday we have the games, in terms of games of the week, that afford that.
Yeah.
I think each game provides something unique, something different about our game that we can really highlight and extrapolate on.
Yeah, no, there's good matchups here that, when you look at it, you got the Gold taking on the Insomniacs, the Renegades with the BIC, which last year, the Renegades, at least from the beginning and stuff of that game, showed, a few things last year. Then you got the U taking on the Buzz, Hawks going into Indy taking on the Octane, Hunters taking on the Sick With It, Animals taking on the QC Crush, and the Watchmen going on and taking the Virginia Heathens. So it's a great lineup of games, to start the season off right. So now, I mean, we've talked about it before, like expansions and all that other kind of stuff. But what I've been liking to see is the fact that you have new divisions that have come in, and they have started to gain more traction. Ohio has, got to make another step up. Indianapolis just coming in last year, they're making another step up. Obviously, Vegas is where they are, after, 4 or 5 years, or 4 going on 5 years in this league so far, that everything is starting to mesh to the point where now everybody on all sides of the league on both coasts are starting to get competitive. And now it's at a point where I mean, we said it last year. This year is gonna, show where the rest of the year, is gonna, or where the next 5 to 10 years is gonna go. And now we're saying that kind of the same thing this year. This is also another year that's gonna really move. It's either gonna move the league forward, or it's either gonna keep stationary, or maybe even move it back. I mean, I doubt that's gonna happen because we've said it every year. Can it get better than this? And it always does. So I think at this point, I mean, if people haven't been watching and haven't been paying attention, they've been missing out. I know snippets, Pat McAfee show, Mike Tomlin, guys that you just little spurts of recognition here and there. But I think it could, especially after this year, with everything that's on the line. There's so many different storylines, going into this season. With different teams having, are we going to step up or are we going to fall? Type of stuff. The BIC is looking to try and regain the crown. The U is getting a little bit older, but we're still a top dog in this league. The Insomniacs obviously going for the three-peat. The Animals going from where they were at, which was nothing, to now looking as a top contender in the Northeast. What are some of the storylines that you guys have been seeing that you're most interested in keeping up with throughout this season?
Well, I'll go through mine because I gotta go because I'm tired. But when it comes to, it's obviously if the BIC with a reloaded defense, they've got Isaac Negron, they've got both Ramadan brothers. They're going to be adding a lot of other talent to that defense that we've seen before. I think it's about what does Sterry Codrington do the year after losing in a championship game? Because the last time that happened, they ran the table, put 80 on people's heads in the playoffs, and won the whole damn thing. So do we see that bounce back? Do we see the Animals go from being the 22nd in scoring defense and 7th in scoring offense with a 9.1 negative point differential per game, minus 9.1 point differential per game? Is the new defense, the Santisteban brothers, I spoke with them this week before Sunday. They have new defensive players that they think are going to really set up, especially in the secondary, give them a lot of help. Obviously, they have Jay Rolla on that team. So Jay Rolla on the defensive line could be a problem. If it's going to be 48 and rainy in Indianapolis, I know that that's going to be a game where we see Kwani Morgan and Omari Thomas show up a lot for the Animals in that 4 p.m. game. So it's also just seeing how these teams respond. The league got a shock to its system in the offseason. Less teams, tighter competition, bigger platform. A lot of things broke in a lot of weird ways, and it's going to be how these teams respond. Are the Patterson, you're the second best team in Patterson? Is that a conversation we're going to have? They lost Jason Sisson, who was a big part of their offense. He's back on the BIC. What does that mean for that awesome backstack? Huff coming off a leg injury. No. That's a problem. What does that do to his mobility if this is his last season? Like, if he joins us in the booth after this season, that's been conversations that have been had. Like, when he's done, does he come join us in some form or fashion? So it's all of that. And who the hell's going to step up? There's always a team every year that's like, oh shit, they're a problem. Is that team going to come from the West this year? Not the Insomniacs, obviously, but who's going to answer the bell? Are the Stealth going to be? Are they going to be able to fill the spot that the Force created, or is that going to be the Hunters? Like, who's gonna break out this year? Who's going to be the team that exceeds all our expectations? I've talked with people that think the Crush could be a top 4 team in the league, not in the conference, but in the league. And I trust their opinion on things. But whether or not that actually happens, we're going to see them on Games of the Week a lot. They're going to have to bring a lot of fire, a lot of that passion that Dubs talks about on other side of the ball. They got to bring that passion, and they got to be ready for a fucking gauntlet. Like, this season is a gauntlet for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that how you counterpunch, if you lose one game, how you counterpunch, how you respond will will determine the rest of the season.
Sounds good. I mean, yeah, again, that's with it, I never really thought about, because we had talked about it on this show before, that to and we actually did it last week when we talked with David Tender. I don't necessarily think having less teams is what some would call like a bad thing. It's like, oh well, the league's is getting small. I was like, well, if anything, with less teams, that means
More depth.
other teams get more depth. The teams become better. So now it's at a point where, okay, you may have lost a few teams here and there, but the depth on the other teams and the competitive nature wise of these other teams who before we looked at and went, there's not a chance in the world. Now we look at them going, okay, there may be a little something here. And, we may not be looking at top 4, top 5 in the league, but it's definitely a step up from where they were. Yeah, so I think that brings nothing but good competitive fire to the league. And Matt, I know you got to go and everything. So again, I appreciate you, sir, for giving some time, and look forward to hearing the Jim Ross, the voice of the A7FL, being able to have another season and entertaining us wholeheartedly from start to finish. So I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Hanson. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much for letting me talk the dumb stuff that I get to talk. And may this season provide us all with a lot of entertainment, a lot of opportunity, and as always, don't be an asshole. Baba Booey, motherfucker.
I love the exits. They're always great. Doug, same thing, same kind of question for you. Like with everything that's going on, what are some things that you're kind of looking forward to when it comes to the growth of the league?
Well, for me, for one thing, can the Baltimore Watchmen focus on football? I think that's one question that I really would like to see, and we will see that as they make their way back to the field this upcoming Sunday. Interesting to see the Hawks making their return to the league and what kind of chemistry that I'm anxious to see Chick Morris and Corey Hammond tag team on offense and see what kind of dynamic they can have on the field. Obviously, the big question, can the three-peat happen? Can history be made? Obviously, that's the big question out here on the West Coast in Nevada. Also is what kind of a roster will Sick put together? How will Savion Cunningham impact the Hunters? It's going to be weird seeing him in that Hunter's red as opposed to the OTT purple and gold, if you will. But again, the Octane. They get to be on the biggest stage in their second season. Will the bright lights be too much for them to handle? Obviously, the Hawks doing the travel from Jersey to Indy. How will their body time react to that? Being on the road for so long. I mean, there's just a lot of dynamics. To just let the domino effect and let the domino ripple happen coming up on Sunday. I'm just anxious to see where does it go? I'm anxious to see who's going to be that one team to say, you know what, we're ready, we're here, come see about us, because you know who the BIC are, you know who you are, even with the Huff coming back from injury, but Huff is still Huff when he's right.
Yeah.
We know who the Insomniacs are, but again, this new version of Sick with it, what will it pertain to? The Hunters with the Devil, what can they pertain to? Can the Gold get their first ever win in their history? Now that they have some depth on their roster. So I mean, there's a lot of dynamics that I'm really anxious to see when we kick it off on Sunday. As I said, we're under 48 hours. Yee.
Mr. Sugar Light.
Yeah, man, everything Dub said and then some more. So there's been a lot of talk about a team that had 0 wins being listed in the top 7. And I just want to remind everybody that the Insomniacs had 0 wins before they went on their run and now are back-to-back champions, right? You just talked about the Octane and are they ready for the big lights? But their best player from the last season is actually on the new squad, the Heathens, this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about how great that team might be. And I'm telling you, the playmaker that James Mitchell was for the Octane, if he is got some other pieces around him, that's somebody that the East is going to need to look out for. What I'm excited about, besides the level of comp in Vegas, because there will not be a single game in Las Vegas where anybody's walking through anybody, from what I can tell from these rosters. So that's what I say. But I think the situation is going to be the same out east. I think the Crush, the Heathens, the Octane have all built up some squads that are going to make, I think, be at least at the level of the Animals, right? And the quality of product they put on the field. And the Animals gave every one of the top teams out east a run for their money every game. So everybody's going to need to pack a lunch. They're going to have their A players in the game. You're not going to have guys that get to take days off because, oh, I'm just playing insert name that hasn't won a game yet. I'm most looking forward to that. But we talked about the quote unquote contraction of this league. It did cut out some of the things that I think is going to make us look better on TV. The guys who are coming outside are all guys who are coming outside to play, not coming outside to sit on the sidelines. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and Matt Sticks, obviously you've been a huge fan of this league, talking about if it ever, when it comes to Northern California, how you may be strapping up the cleats just to see, how it goes. What are some things? And by the way, sir, loving the merch.
Oh yeah,
Loving how it looks right
it's
now.
that Indies gear. You got to
Yeah,
rock the
I
gear.
love it. Everybody get your gear. Go to
Oh yeah.
JaffosTV.com. Get your merch. It all looks good. I'm so happy it all came out, but or it all came out good. But Matt Six, what some things that you're looking forward to this season?
For me, I'm looking to see the three-peat. So that's what I want to see. My very first game, I don't get to watch a lot of these games because of work. So, my very first game was seeing Insomniac. So I think you automatically become a fan, just the one team. And then just to see them win that first one in the fashion they did, to see it again, last year. And so I'm looking to see if they can do it again. Hopefully they can pull it off again. So.
And then EJ, this is your first run for the A7FL season with us being, part of the Jaffo family. So from what you've seen, what you've heard, obviously the guys that we've had talk about this league, what are some things that you're excited to see?
I'm more on the producer side of everything. So I'm really looking forward to see what shout out to Mel, what Mel is cooking up, the graphics and whatnot, the camera angles and everything, how he's gonna put everything together, run down how the commentary is gonna be, and then that three-peat as well. I'm definitely looking, to see how that's gonna go, to see if Sick with it, is gonna be able to, because what was that? I want to say it was either last year or the year before last year. I think I picked Sick with it to beat Insomniac.
You did.
But it didn't come through. But it was definitely a good game though. It was a good game. I remember that game. It was definitely a good game. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the more of the the producing and whatnot, and the broadcast, seeing how all that's gonna go, what Melly Mel's gonna cook. And yeah, man, that's what I'm really looking forward
You're
to.
gonna love the commentary of Matt Ryan too. I promise you.
I'm
You're gonna love
already
that.
I'm just glad that Mel doesn't have to use a ladder this year as opposed to last season. I mean,
That's crazy.
it is creative
Hey,
mind of just
don't rule out the ladder, bro. That shit was fire.
Well,
but
to
yeah,
get the shots that he did, there's a reason why I call Mel Carey the hardest working man in sports. Period.
He'll figure it out one way or another. That's for damn sure. I mean, for me, I've definitely looked at this like it's especially after the end of last season, just itching for more and more of this type of football, because again, this is, in my opinion, probably the most exciting brand of football out there. With everything that goes on, the speed of the game, the fact that you have players that maybe not many people have heard of going out there and just absolutely showing out and balling out. It's been a league that I have definitely fallen in love with and look forward to seeing every single year. But this year is just there's something about it. Again, we talk about it all the time. How could it get better? And every time we ask the question, it just gets better. And
Speaking of the latter,
We ready out here, dog. We ready.
Yeah, but with that, it just gets better. And then this season, with everything that's gone on off season and what it's kind of leading up to, it's just another stepping stone for the league. 11 seasons down. More when if you count the town beef days. But it's exciting football. There's really nothing else I can really say about it other than it's the most exciting brand that's out there. And the fact that
passionate
more and
football.
more, exactly, the more and more that I see that people aren't really paying attention as much as they should, it to me it's just kind of, well, this is probably going to be the season, especially with the level of competition, being able to have depth on more teams than it's not, like Derek said, it's not going to be runaways, every single game. You may have a few, games here and there that just the team had a bad day, and that happens in football on all levels. Teams that you wouldn't expect coming up out of the woodwork and balling out. I'm expecting other teams to. I mean, I would love to be able to see the Gold, take that step up. I'd love to be able to see a new team, even though it's a new team with the Heathens, they've got a squad. They've got somebody, or they got team that could actually make some noise, in their inaugural season. The Hawks coming back, they've got a bunch of vets, Corey Hammond included, that I haven't, at least so far that I've been watching the league, haven't been able to see that team yet because they, folded before we got in. So now being able to see and getting to see more of like historical teams, I guess you would say, come back and be able to try and compete. And then, with what Matt Ryan has said on the show before, talking about what they have plan wise in order to show the history of the league. So being able to kind of go back from year one and kind of be able to tell everybody the story of the league, of where it was to where it's come. And I think when everybody starts to have an understanding of that, it's just going to bring more and more eyes to the game. And I mean, I don't know where the championship is going to be this season. Quite frankly, I mean, we've talked about it here. Me, Matt, 60. I don't think we really give a damn where it's going to be this season. We're going to try and make it. Yeah, so because again, the atmosphere that we had in Bullhead, just second to none. Like that was
90% bullhead.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No, 90%. There's
90,
only like
okay.
one little thing needs to get worked out. If that thing gets worked out, it's bullhead.
That's what I'm talking about.
Another weekend of 130 to 150,000 degree heat.
Hey, let's go.
So you're saying it's not going to be as hot as it was last time?
Oh no, it's going to be. I guarantee it. It usually gets hotter and hotter every single year. But I mean, living in
the good news
Sacramento,
is
it's at least a little bit of a that getting used to this type of heat will prepare me for that type of heat out in Arizona.
at least it's in June this year, so it's not the hottest month of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, still Arizona is Arizona. So
Hey, can I jump on the Hawks real quick? So that's
Absolutely.
an interesting thing, right? We got another team that was 0 for last season that's being talked about as a top 7 team, and they are bringing in what is widely regarded as one of the best flag teams in the country to fill out that roster with Corey Hammond and other vets on that team, and it's being run by Ron Clark, an A7 Hall of Famer, that is putting the whole thing together. So, like I said, everybody who's coming outside is coming outside to play. I got high hopes for this Hawks team, and as Dub keeps not trolling Corey Hammond, hoping that he can celebrate a winning Monday. I think he's going to get that this season a couple times, if not 5 or 6.
And if it happens, oh my goodness! If y'all thought Corey Hammond talked too much before, holy shit, that's going to be some interesting conversations with that man. If that does end up, and it will. I mean, because again, I don't see, when I look at these teams and you see top to bottom the rosters, there's not really a whole lot that I would categorize as cupcakes.
Well, I'm excited to see Chick play offense because I've only seen him play on the defenses of the ball. I want to see his receiving skills. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that's going to happen this season with all the movement and everything that's happened. It's just going to be entertaining. You get to sit back and enjoy really, really good football, on the East and the West Coast, because again, and that's one thing that I've always said about the West Coast. I'm so happy that the growth of, that division has happened as quickly as it has, because again, it's just good for the league. Anything that can help the league get more eyes on it, all for it. And that's, shout out to you, Mr. Duncan, because you've had a big part in getting it to that point. But at least for your sense, like what would it be, or what's needed, I guess, in order to take another step for the West Coast Division?
Oh man.
Bringing the team to Sacramento.
Yeah. So
we
look, if I was to just hit the fast forward button, a ultra competitive team in SoCal, NorCal, Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Colorado, like one very competitive team from each state. If I was just press a button to make the whole thing happen.
Don't forget Utah.
Yeah, Utah. Look, every state in the West, right? So, but the guys who have already been playing ball, the guys who are traveling, that have guys that are already traveling to Vegas to play games, are the ones that I just mentioned. So those guys are already engaged and wanting to play A7, but we're the only place they can do it right now, right? So, I have my ideas of what the league should do, and if you guys just will indulge me for 2 minutes, real quick, I'll just run it down real quick.
Absolutely.
So what I got brought into the league by paying a significant amount of money to own a division. If we rethought the way that was done and let division owners get involved for, let's say, a third of that, maybe even a tenth of that. So they buy the franchise rights to a division, and then they run a rec division with 8 teams in each major area, and then the all pros of those 8 teams became the pro travel team. That would build out every state and every major city much more quickly, and we would have this upward trajectory much faster, and we'd have the better and faster expansion, and then we'd only televise the games of those all pro games, right? So in Vegas, maybe we'd have 2 or 3 teams because we've done the work already here, and we've got at least 2 franchises we know are quality enough to play as a travel team, maybe a third or a fourth this season. Jersey probably has 2 or 3 same. Florida 1, Ohio 1, right? Maryland 1. So already there is a 7 or 8 team league that if we do it right, those guys can travel and play cross country, and that's what you see on TV. And the other teams become rec leagues and feeders where these guys know if you ball out and you're the best, you get to go play on this top squad. It attracts more people to play, especially if that top league is paid. So that's kind of where I think, unless again we get this big cash infusion or something like that. If we don't get that cash infusion, that's the next iteration of A7, that we grow organically through rec to all pro and then have travel.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's just one of those things that when it comes to the growth of the league, and I keep saying it and I keep asking the question, like, how far are we out? How far are we out, from those interconference games? Because those interconference games will bring a significant amount of eyes, to the game or to the league, because you get to build those rivalries. Maybe you'd be able to have a good Insomniacs versus BIC rivalry, throughout the say, have them play each other one time a year, and then, possibly again in the playoffs or championship. Like, it just develops a certain, it develops a certain feeling to the game that I know, especially here in the States where football is king, that it's another thing for people to be able to kind of look at and go, ooh, yeah, this is a league that we can definitely get into. And then the expansion of it, because I've talked to people, I've seen people, I know that there's actually people here. Last year playing with the River City Tigers, we had, one guy who, you know, drove from there all the way to play for the Force. And to and from Vegas, every damn near every week. So we know that there are people, at least out here in Northern California, who have seen it, who definitely want it, but it's just a matter of finding somebody who's willing to, like you said, put the money down to be able to get it going.
And
And
I tried to develop Northern California out of the Reno market. So we had a dude who owned a Flackle league out there that was doing like a flag tackle thing. And I was like, look, man, just help me run my thing, get some of your guys to play. We'll travel up there to play your guys. Let's do it. And he was all about it, but I just couldn't get him focused enough to stick around and get it done. There's guys up in your area who are ready to play ball. They were all excited, but we just couldn't pull it together. So, I mean, like I said before, it's either going to be a cash infusion that's going to change who we are right now, or a different way to grow organically, because and what's happening naturally is happening naturally, and good or bad, it's happening. I think what we have this season is the best possible uh, level of comp that we've had since I've joined, which is insane to say, but we still don't get that crossplay, which is what everybody wants.
right, but I'm also looking at it as,
It's coming.
so yeah, no, it's definitely coming, but I'm also looking at it as like, I mean, you've talked to people, you've talked to potential sponsors, you've talked to, people who could potentially invest into the league to make it, even bigger than what it is. Are you getting any feedback on why maybe somebody would say no? Or if there's like, oh, if you guys improve on this, then maybe we'll take a look.
They're looking for somebody else to do it first.
So they don't want to be the pioneers.
Right. They're looking for some other big name to be the big name that does it first.
Very interesting how like we would rather be followers than to act, because
Oh no,
I'm
they just want
assuming
somebody
those
else
conversations go, we like what we're seeing,
yeah.
but it's just not.
They want somebody else to prove the concept with their money before they put their money in.
And see, that's the kind of stuff that I look at and go, you know what, that's people, y'all got to really understand here that what's happening in this league. I mean, because think about it this way: if they were to get into it now, they would be essentially paying a fraction of what it would be when it actually blows up. So when it actually blows up, you're going to be paying a whole lot more money than you would have actually anticipated beforehand.
That part.
Yeah, look, you're right. You can either be getting in on Bitcoin on the ground floor, or Bitcoin when it's $100,000 a coin, right?
Right.
But the people who got into Bitcoin on the ground floor were not the smart business guys. It was the guys who were trying to make a quick buck, and they did. But for every Bitcoin, there's 100 meme coins that didn't pan out. So
Yeah.
the smart investors are smart investors because they're smart investors, right? That's just who they are. We're going to find let me say, we already have found our guy. It's Fox Soul. They have put the hours into us this season and are taking a run with us the same way Stadium did when Stadium did it. Had Stadium not gone BK off of the other stuff they were doing,
Mm.
we were their flagship. We did well with Stadium.
Yeah.
Then they had their own issues, right? We now have this great opportunity in front of us with Fox Soul. And should things go well with Fox Soul, we're already in the ear and in the eyes of the Fox network and in their orbit to the point where we already ended up on Tubi. So it's just one great season away and a couple great productions and a couple of people going, oh shit, I really like this. Let me come back and watch it again, and calling up and saying, hey, I need to see more of that for us to get it. So it's there. The platform's laid out. The cheese is dangled. All we got to do is reach out and eat it and make sure that we don't step on our own what's on the way there.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
back
no,
in the 87
definitely.
on Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports or Big Time Fox. Oh my goodness. Good Lord.
I mean, the fact that it's on Tubi and stuff like that right
Yeah.
now as well, because Tubi is a pretty big platform. You know,
It is.
that's a very big step up from where, you know, from essentially being on nothing. You know,
It's
again,
it's
Stadium,
huge.
yeah,
It
and
is.
Stadium was good, and like you said, they had their issues, things, you know, went on, but that was a good stepping stone point for the league in order to get the recognition of what they have now. And then with the subtle recognition that the league has been getting on major platforms like ESPN, you know, people getting at least a little snippet of what the league is about. You know, I'm looking, I mean, obviously with my timeline, because of who I pay attention to, who I follow and everything, my stuff gets flooded with A7 shit all the time. But the fact that more people all over the place are starting to see the league and gain more interest in it, it's only really a matter of time. And then certain and I want to believe that some of it has to do with, at least TV deal wise, maybe they're waiting for certain markets to also get tapped into, rather than where, you know, because some look at, you know, when you look at the NBA and you look at the NFL, they always talk about, oh, big market teams, small market teams, you know, depending on where everything is at. You have, you know, teams in Vegas, which is considered a pretty big market, especially entertainment wise. And
Stadiums around the
then
world.
you have in New Jersey, which I guess not a lot of people would look at New Jersey as a huge, other than, you know, the Giants and Jets playing
Well,
over at MetLife
let me say
in
this
East
piece
Rutherford.
and give you a little more information before, because I got to bounce and I'm sorry. And thank you
Absolutely.
again for having me on. You guys are amazing. Thank you for covering the league. I really appreciate everything you guys do. 100. So, the greatest thing we got going for us right now is last season we were with so many great partners who actually knew and understood the metrics of advertising and what it means to be a broadcast company. And we are one of the most valuable assets in the world, which is linear television, linear sports, where you can actually put live commercials in and people will stick around and watch your commercial to see what's on the other side, right? So because
Yep.
we are that, we have the lowest CPM, cost per million or cost per metric, whatever that number is, of any linear sport that is nationally broadcast in the country. And once that information starts to filtrate into the marketing world and people actually understand that and understand that we're reaching the 18 to 34 male demographic at the tune of 850,000 people every time we put something out, once that information starts to get into the right hands, we're good. It's just a
Yep.
matter of how we leverage that. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for being a part of why we're so successful. You guys
Oh.
are amazing. EJ, it's good to see you bouncing in the background, brother. Take care of yourself. Mad Sticks, you know you're my guy. It's good to see you, bro. And Dub, I'll see you on
Always.
Sunday.
See you
Oh
on
Hey,
Sunday,
yeah.
boss.
Josh, Josh, you're
Yes,
the
sir.
absolute best, brother. I appreciate everything you do
Uh,
for us, man. Y'all be well.
I appreciate you, sir. Suge Light, Derek Duncan, ladies and gentlemen, owner of the A7FL
I'm about to
Nevada
get with
Division.
Mel
And here
ASAP for
and here comes
sure.
Zelly trolling, as only Zelly can do.
Everyone else is playing for second, of
I'm about
course.
to get with Mel ASAP.
Yeah, but I mean, it you know, like we were saying, there's so much that this league has to offer. And you know, we've talked about it. You know, I went on a full on rant, you know, what things, you know, at least from what I view, that people would look into when it comes to wanting to promote the league, like some do's and don'ts. Um, Obviously, we know what the don'ts are. I'm not going to get into, you know, further. I don't need to clarify any more than what I've already had, and I've already pissed off a few people from what I said. So, and again, I am completely okay with that, because if it pissed you off, then you're the one who I'm talking to. You know, so, and I even talked to Corey a little bit earlier today before we had him on. He's like, "Oh, you know, we like to have some Ohio guys." I was like, "Well, some of the Ohio guys are upset with me." I was like, "But I would still love to have them on, because if they've got something to say, then I'll give you a platform. But if you're gonna just sit here and just talk shit and not give me any really like facts to back up what you're saying, then you're just gonna look like an ass on my show, because I'm not gonna change my opinion, and you're still gonna be the fragile ego that I said you were. So until other facts and everything, like if you can come onto the show and have a decent debate with me and everything else, and decent debate with us, then we may change the tune, because we've always said it here. If we're proven wrong, we're proven wrong. We're okay with that. We're not the type of show that is like, we get upset when somebody proves us wrong, or we try to revert back because, oh, well, I didn't say that's like, no, we know what we said. We know what we are saying, and we can back up what we're saying. So until, somebody else can come in and kind of be able to give us what they need to be able to change that tune, it's always going to be the same. Yeah, go ahead, Zelly. Go ahead. Tell them. No, I've already said it. So that's what I'm saying. Like if they don't know what I said, y'all can go back and look at the show. We've got shorts, we've got reels. We're all over social media. We're not hard to find. I'm not hard to find.
WFT.
Fucking soft. Kobe Bryant meme. Soft.
We got some softies.
Yep. Probably some nominations for bitch ass Hall of Shame.
And they better just smoke these trees and keep pushing.
But it's just right now. I mean, weekend warriors, just like the keyboard warriors, I like to call them as well. Talk all that shit online, but when I tell them to come on the show, they're nowhere to be found. It's kind of like Elon Musk going on the Daily Show. Talks all that shit, but he ain't gonna fucking do it because he's too much of a pussy to do it. So we've got a lot of things, that we love about the league. There's some things that we don't like about the league that things can get better. Obviously, everything can get better. Nothing is perfect, but in order for this league to get to where it needs to get, those imperfections need to be a little bit less imperfections. There's got to be at least some sort of step in the right direction. And I'm thinking a lot of players resonate with that. I know there's a lot of teams, players, coaches that want the best for this league. And, like Derek had said, things are in motion right now that are essentially eliminating those keyboard warriors, the dudes that are just there for a jersey, kind of like how we play high school football. The guys who were there, and the guys who were just there to get a jersey to talk to girls. That's just that's how it is in some cases. And now the league is doing its part to basically, all right, are you here to play and make the league better, or are you here to just say, oh, I played in the league? Because a lot of the guys that I see talking shit are ones who don't even touch the field. They're the sideline cheerleaders, essentially. So it's now teams are getting more competitive. There's more depth. It's going to look good. I'm definitely excited, for this season. I would love to see less of the bullshit that happens, and a lot of the bitching and complaining that happens, again, on the internet, and not, when it comes to face, nobody wants to say nothing, but
you don't want the smoke.
Yeah, but it right now it's where it's at. The league is getting it's getting better. It's getting better and better as time goes on. And we just need those extra pushes. And some like those smart businessmen and stuff. Yeah, they're smart businessmen, but they follow the trends and everything else like that. But I would rather be somebody who took a chance, tried to pioneer it, and when it works, and I say when it works because this league is going to work, that you could be able to sit back and go, yeah, we knew since day one. Why didn't you guys jump on when you should have? And then instead of, like you said, being able to hop on for a fraction of the cost and being able to say that you pioneered it, now you're just another bandwagoner that's throwing even more money because now the league is a lot bigger than it is. there's obviously risk and reward for a lot of things, but when you look at this league, there's more reward than there is risk. Everything obviously has risk, but when you look at this league and what it has done, the viewerships when it comes to social media and all the clips and all the highlights and everything that goes on, the viral, clips that get put on ESPN and getting talked about, on Pat McAfee's show with Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger. When you're bringing former NFL head coaches to a championship game and they were about to take off, but they saw how the game was going and they said, "No, fuck that. Let me grab a beer and chill and enjoy this." So
greatest video bomb of my young career. Getting like,
so
hi coach, how are you?
there have always there are things to this league that are special. And that specialness of this league is what's going to make it grow, and the players really need to get on board with that. What Scooter had said earlier, having the entire team being able to buy in, and if you have to be able to put money down to make the travel across to the East Coast, and vice versa. You may have there's gonna be the help that whole spend money to make money type of thing. Obviously, scheduling wise, people have 9 to 5s and stuff in this, but then there are a lot of players who make a lot of their money off these flag tournaments, off these, year round. They've almost made a living on it. I know Davitt Clark is on a professional flag, team. So is Danye, with the Lucky Sevens and stuff. There are a lot of factors and a lot of players who make money doing this that you can look at this league and go, we can do the same thing with it. We may have to come a little bit out of pocket, but at the end of the day, it's going to grow the league to the point where we won't have to do that anymore because the sponsorships are going to be there. The money's coming in at a steady pace. We don't have to worry about that anymore. It'll get to the point where the league can, start paying the players.
You think it'd be worth it if they took a risk like one season, like just dialed in all the way in?
Oh yeah, 100%. If the entirety of the league, West Coast and
just like
East Coast,
locked in one season and was all like, you know what, let's just take that risk and go all the way in, block out all the noise, and just go all the way in.
Yeah.
And let's take these travels. Let's production all the way through.
Yep.
Teams lock in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
I can definitely see, even if
What
it's
you think,
just for
Doug?
1 year that everybody locks in, you're going to see a significant difference, and it's going to be for the better.
Well, as I said 2 years ago in Bullhead City, with the game that we got between the Nightcrawlers and the Insomniacs, I said the league as a whole won that night.
Yeah.
So now it's how do you build off that? Then you get last year's championship game. So now, how do you build off that?
Yeah.
Like I said, what Derek just said before he got out of here, being on Fox Soul now might be the biggest platform that the A7 has been on in the United States, because we know globally they're on DAZN, and we know what DAZN is globally because they cover boxing, soccer, what have you.
Yeah.
But if Fox Soul does well, which I think it will, certainly with the quality of games that are going to be aired on Fox Soul, again, somebody at Fox Television Network might get a grasp of, you know what? We might need to put them on Fox Sports 1. We might need to put them on Fox Sports, which, benefits us, because if we cover the league, or, for me, in particularly, if I, being a part of the broadcast league, that can mean national TV deal. That can mean an actual contract for myself, Matt, whomever. So it's all about continuing to build the momentum that you have continued to build over the last few years, because as the bad guy has said so much, it keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. As I've said many times, jump on the train now. Get on now. Don't get left behind. Otherwise, you'll be like, what did I miss? You missed the train
Hey.
run by. You was just scared to get on.
What we're missing right now is EJ. You need to stop trolling.
Hey, pretty is. Hey, I'm be honest with you right now, JP. I'm not trolling. I'm just real with you. I'm not trolling.
Zelly comes up and says this, and then all of a
I ain't
sudden
gonna lie.
EJ
500 pounds.
wants to get
500
into. There's still another
pounds
thing.
is
No,
insane, though, bro. That's
no.
good work
Zelly's
right
been
there,
no.
dude.
Zelly's been in the gym
That's
putting in
some-
work. I've seen
that's some
the
good work.
videos. Zelly's
But
been,
I ain't gonna lie.
Zelly's been
bro.
getting
I
it.
still-
You're too pretty.
I'll run through you, bro. Full, I promise you, bro. Give me one right up the 0 hole, bro. And yeah, come on. Come on, bro.
You're
Watch,
gonna
at the end of the show, I
turn
got
this
some
into
at the end of the show.
Matt Ryan, Casey Cox style race to instead it's gonna be an Oklahoma drill that I don't know if you're gonna be ready for.
I got some breaking news at the end of the show. Just wait for it. But just
All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I mean, with this league, there's so much to enjoy. There's so much to really to like about it that I mean, I don't see. I mean, obviously, people say, "Oh, well, there's certain
EJ, there you go. The gauntlet has been thrown down, sir.
how long you gonna be out here?
Well, him and Miz are supposed to hook up while he's out there, so you might need to talk to Big Cuz about that.
We'll find a field somewhere and we'll get that filmed and we'll put it out there."
Let me know something.
Till okay, till Saturday. Wednesday to Saturday. We'll be out there. We're here. We're here. I'm gonna again. I'm gonna say like what Vince McMahon told to Mark Henry when he went to go do the World's Strongest Man competition. Can't be talking shit and don't show out, man.
If you're going to talk the passion, you must bring the passion.
Hey man, I'll put it
even
like
if you
this,
get taken
man.
out, as long as there was an actual legitimate effort, I'll be all right.
I'll put it like this, dog. Hey, when it comes to that football field, bro, I'm a different beast, man.
I like it.
Why are you trying to sound like Puffy right now, EJ?
Oh, here come Matt. Yeah,
hey,
now here come Matt says, "Y'all want to see it dead?"
Man, bastard, bro, you got my mom on Facebook. Come on now, man. I know you seen the videos, bro. Stop playing, bro. Don't do that, bro. Come on now, bro.
No, but EJ, when you did play, what was your position?
Running back, safety, quarterback, everything.
But what was your favorite to play?
To be honest, running back, but I wasn't really a running back like that.
Okay, well, what position would you say that you were good at? What would you say is your best position?
To be honest, my best position was corner, but like I was a good running back though. Like I can when I finally hit the hole, I was like that for real.
Who would you pattern your run style up? Who would you compare your running style to? Let me say it like that.
Choose your next words very wisely.
My run style,
like your running style. If you could compare it to a running back that's playing present,
stop it.
Or
present or past.
Present or past, your running style. Who would you compare your running style to?
Let me see who was shifty, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a shifty like speed back. I wasn't like how can I tell you? Like in high school, I wasn't the type to like run at you. Like
Zelly, knock it off. Zelly,
bro.
you need to chill, bro.
All right, bro.
Until
I end up like
Zelly.
Adam Sandler, they're gonna put me at running back, boy. I'm trying to tell you.
You need to chill, Zelly.
Hey, bro.
That's a damn good movie. That's a great movie, though. Damn good movie.
Homework on EJ.
Great movie, though. Great movie.
I hit that hole, boy. I'm trying to tell you. You better hope your outside containers like that.
Mastic's crying right
I'll put
now.
it to you like this. We on that football field, boy. Hey, bruh, you're not going to be able to catch me. If you can't get me on the first, you feel me? When I first hit that hole, I'm gone, bruh. Straight like that.
He said, "Hit that hole."
But like I was like a speed shifty back for real. Like I would hit the hole and like get gone.
one cut back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I wasn't I never really had to, like really hit nobody for real. Like
Quick
I mean,
enough
it
to
was
just
one
run
time
by
where I
him.
broke. It was one time I broke like a ton of tackles and scored, but I never really, like ran nobody over. You feel me? Like I was too fast. Like I just hit the hole and got out of there. Like you feel me? Like I get on the field with Zelly. You feel me?
Go Gadget.
Hey man, he doing all the the comebacks and whatnot. But it's like I get on that field, bro, and he try to get me or whatever. It's just not gonna happen. Like I don't know. I'm a different kind of beast.
I want to
man.
see it.
And then my stiff arm.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm like Derrick Henry because my stiff arm. I put him in the dirt. I face palm that boy. I volleyball that boy. You better get gone.
This is going to set us up for some viral content because either way that it goes, it's going to be epic. Regardless of how it goes, it's going to go viral. But everybody, appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this Friday. We appreciate all of the guests, Matt Ryan, Corey Hammond, Derek Duncan, Scooter Hamilton, Dub, as always, joining us, getting on here, talking some A7 ball.
It's finally here.
Finally, the season is
call
right
games
upon
again.
Sunday.
Put a headset on. Yes.
Get to it. We probably have some sort of watch along here on Jaffos TV for the All-Pro Jaffos. And then, obviously go to A7FL.tv or check out the A7FL YouTube channel to be able to catch all the games of the week, especially any other games that are being broadcasted. There's a great lineup, good week one of football coming to you. So everybody be excited about that. For those sponsors who just don't know yet, keep watching. You're going to see something that you're going to want to get into, and hopefully by week 1, week 2, you'll have enough of an itch to be able to call the league.
And don't forget, Mizzle and Dub Show, A7FL recap show later
Mm-hmm.
on in week 1. So,
sir.
Get your boy.
So once again, appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on this Friday. Get to JaffosTV.com. Get your merch. Madsticks over there sporting some of the indie vibes with DJ Madsticks merch that you can see on JaffosTV.com. I'm waiting on my Jaffos TV sweater to come in. My wife's got her phone case and everything for the All-Pro Jaffos. There's so many. It's almost an addiction wise. Every day I want to put something else, another logo, another something on there. Jaffo Army shirts are now available. The meaning of Jaffos, just a few fucking observers shirts is on there. Anything that you want, Prodigy shirts, Madstick shirts, the bad guy shirts, they are all there. Botched Initiative for our D&D program on Wednesdays, all of that stuff is there. There's so many different things that you guys can get your hands off, and it's not the expensive ass. You go to all these other merch stores, you got shirts that are $30-$40 fucking dollars, sweaters are $50-$60. It's a cool $15 for the shirts, $25 for the sweaters. And it's good stuff. You'll be able to show how big the Jaffo Army is actually growing. So we appreciate
for you A7 fans on the Mizzle and Dub Show merch shop. We got some other side of the ball A7FL gear also on there, so go check it out.
I gotta see if I can get some clearance to get some A7FL gear thrown on
Hey,
ours
speaking of checking out, I need y'all to tune in tomorrow on BET Jams, the world premiere. My guy, Jet Black, Jess James. He's an artist I DJ for. We travel a lot. His video, Trap Talk, is coming out tomorrow on BET, 12:27 Eastern time. So make sure y'all tune in that. Support the home team. It's up from here. So May we open it for DJ Quick down in Palmdale.
Oh,
so that just came through. Yeah. So we got some things about to jump off. So
This
Yeah,
is why.
When I get all this
yeah.
trouble, yes.
This is why
Right
he's the
here.
greatest DJ on the fucking
Is
planet.
Sugar
yeah.
Free gonna be there too?
Maybe we did him we did him a couple months ago down in
Oh
Palmdale.
yes.
Yeah.
Damn it if you stay ready, I ain't gotta get ready.
Yep.
So once again, everybody, please like, share, and subscribe on Jaffos TV, the most diverse platform with all sorts of stuff that you can get into music-wise, with the indie vibes of DJ Mastix every Monday, All-Pro JAFFOs on Tuesdays and Fridays, the Botched Initiative D&D or Tabletop RPG there on Wednesdays, Ring Psychology Podcast on Saturdays. We got a few things coming up because we are in the building when it comes to Monday Night Raw, the go-home show. For WrestleMania, myself and Mizzle will be down in the Golden One Center.
You should do a vlog. If I'm there,
Representing
I'll vlog
Ring
it.
Psychology Podcast, there for that. So there's a lot of good stuff for the program. I'm still looking for other things to get on Jaffos TV too. So if you got something that you want to do, you got an idea podcast wise or music wise or something, that whatever it is that's coming to your head, and you want a platform to do it on, go ahead and give us a call. We're not hard to find. So once again, appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy A7FL ball this coming Sunday. We'll see you guys again on Tuesday. Like always, myself, JP, the Prodigy, EJ Wizzle, DJ Mastix, the greatest DJ in the world, Dub from the Mizzle and Dub Show, and other side of the ball. We will see you guys again next time. Deuces.
Wait.